Welcome to the Dummy Kruger channel, everyone. Today's video takes us to the Warren B. Rudman United States Courthouse, a federal building located in Concord, New Hampshire. The featured auditor in today's video is named Frank Staples, but is commonly referred to as Footloose. I've covered Footloose once before, highlighting some of the craziest moments from a 13-hour-long trial that ultimately found him guilty on one of two charges of disorderly conduct. You can find that video below in the description. Footloose formulated a three-pronged plan to record the sentencing of Ian Freeman, a libertarian activist and radio talk show host. Freeman was recently found guilty on 8 charges, including operating an unlicensed money transmitting business and conspiracy to commit money laundering. He was also found guilty of money laundering, but that was later overturned. Per Freeman himself, the prosecutors are looking for the maximum sentence of 20 years in prison, along with over $20 million in forfeiture and restitution.
Ian Freeman addresses a crowd of supporters on the steps of the federal courthouse in Concord Monday afternoon. The Keene resident was supposed to be sentenced on felony charges connected to what prosecutors describe as an unlicensed virtual currency business. The government says Freeman laundered over $10 million in proceeds of romance scams and other internet frauds by exchanging U.S. dollars for Bitcoin.
The whole idea that I had anything at all to do with these scams is just absolutely absurd. It's not true.
Freeman's sentencing has been delayed due to questions over possible restitution.
His sentencing has been delayed until October 2nd, but this was the background that Footloose used to try and get his camera in the court. The first day, which Footloose dubbed Stage 1, follow him and fellow First Amendment auditor, Press NH Now, testing the waters. Before we get to the video, please remember to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, and comment below. Let's jump right in.
So what's the fucking game plan here? Because I want to get on the same page. So we're not going to try to, we're not going to
try to like go in.
Yeah, obviously. So we know that they don't.
Correct.
So let's make our point.
We're going to let them know. Yeah, we're just
not
going
trying to cause trouble. We're just trying to get the administration order if there is any.
If there is one, yep.
If somebody wants to come out and speak with us in the lobby, that'd
be great.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
I get it. But why is there no video of Ian's trial?
Because they are not allowing it.
So why the f are they going to allow us?
I don't know.
Press NH Now actually had a really good question. Why in the hell will they be allowed to record the trial when no one else can? The answer is they cannot per Rule 83.8 of the United States District Court of New Hampshire's local rules. More on that later.
Gentlemen? How are you? Good, how you doing? Good. So we're not trying to come in or anything. I was here before, I don't know if you remember, but
talk to Joe.
Yes, he was supposed to give me a copy of an order or something because I did get a picture of this. Photographs for news, advertising, commercial purposes, 41 CFR 102-74420. And I've read that, and it actually says we're allowed to film in the public areas in the lobbies. And so there's no like law or rule cited here.
Yeah, wait for Joe to come.
I am, yeah, I'm gonna ask him all these things. Because it has to be constitutional, that's all. It is what it is. We're not trying to cause any problems right now.
If this scenario seems familiar, that's because it is. Footloose is using the exact same verbiage Denver Metro Cardigan used when he was arrested and convicted for recording in a Social Security building.
We're about ready to just mob right in there right now.
He was shown signs posted to the exterior and interior doors prohibiting his entry, but stated that he need not follow them. Quote, "That's just a piece of paper. That's not a law."
This guy said he's calling the police on me because I'm recording him.
About what we're talking about, there is this right here, okay?
Let me see, let me get a shot of that.
Personal devices may not be used to take photographs or make video recordings.
That's not a CFR though. Yes, it's just a piece of paper. Anyone can write, you could write no red shirts. That's not a law, sir. That's just a piece of paper.
We will be looking back on the groundbreaking case of U.S. versus Cardigan throughout the video.
So that actually says we are allowed to film in the lobbies, unless there's a thing, and you said you were going to give it to me last time. I'm hearing you out.
So these are the local rules. Yeah. These are orders that are established by the, can you stop recording? I'm asking you again.
Not until we see these rules.
That's what I'm here for, man.
I mean, this is public, right? So, 8.3.
So my question
So that's it. And then can I read this? Can I read it?
Prohibited.
So why isn't there a notification here that it says The 83 point, there's nothing here.
Just make this easier. We're already in here.
But it doesn't cite it there.
The totality of the rules and procedures for this courthouse is well over 100 pages long. The rule that prohibits recording in the building reads as followed. Except authorized personnel in the discharge of their official government duties, all persons are prohibited from photographing, recording, audio or video, broadcasting, transmitting, or televising within the Warren B. Rudman U.S. Courthouse.
So this is the only thing that you're trying to, that thing is, I know. What are you guys going to do if we don't stop? What's the law? What's the penalty for not following this no filming thing? The court will follow through with what?
Order and ruling. That's not something.
Meaning what? They hold you in contempt? That could be, so you will have to talk to the judge to get us in contempt. I'm just saying. You would have to talk to the judge to hold us in contempt, correct?
So if you want to go put your stuff away and come back in okay.
Oh, do we want to do that now? We want to do that today?
Well, yeah, we need to.
All right.
We need to get prior which is exactly why we came here.
Okay. What, for Monday?
Let's get it done.
For Monday, right? Yeah. All right, so let's go do that. We're going to go put our stuff away and we'll be right back. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
What was that one?
So that was stage 1. In stage 2, things ramp up a bit when DHS is called and they are asked to leave the building. Footloose replaces Press NH Now with New Hampshire State Representative Jason Gerhard. Jason is a newly elected Republican politician representing Merrimack 25. For a little bit more background on the New Hampshire State Representative, he was found guilty of aiding and conspiring to obstruct justice for Elaine and Edward Brown, seen in the picture here, a fugitive couple who dispute the constitutionality of taxes. Per the New York Times, the Browns are already serving a 63-month sentence for refusing to pay income taxes, but an 8-month standoff with law enforcement at their Plainfield Township home after their January 2007 conviction delayed the beginning of their sentence. Over the course of the standoff, Ed Brown, in a series of online, radio, and newspaper interviews, insisted that neither he nor his wife would be taken into custody alive and threatened a, quote, Waco-style response if federal authorities tried to take them by force. On October 4th, a team of undercover United States Marshals posing as supporters of the Browns placed them both under arrest without incident. A number of Brown supporters have also been convicted for aiding and abetting the couple by providing weapons, ammunition, and basic supplies during the standoff, as well as conspiring to prevent the U.S. Marshals from arresting the Browns. Jason Gerhard, who we will soon see in the video, of Brookhaven, New York, was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. In an affidavit for a search warrant, a deputy marshal, Roy Wright, said, Gerhard and his co-conspirators temporarily resided in the Browns' home and assisted the Browns in surveillance designed to detect the presence of law enforcement officers, purchased firearms, brought firearms to the Browns' home, and publicly announced their intention to forcefully resist efforts by the U.S. Marshals Service to arrest Edward Brown and Elaine Brown. At Mr. Gerhard's home on Montauk Highway, investigators said they found an active pipe bomb containing gunpowder in a storage box, a rifle, ammunition, and literature promoting anti-government activities. Continuing, investigators also found about 24 complete and several incomplete pipe bombs at the Browns' house. According to the indictment, Gerhard assembled, used, and possessed these bombs. Gerhard would eventually be found guilty, where he spent 12 years in federal prison. Shortly after getting out, he jumped straight into politics. About 2 weeks ago, he posted a video on Rumble with the title saying, State Rep, time to shoot down toxic chemtrail planes in New Hampshire.
So I am putting in a bill to shoot down said planes that do not comply with orders. There's another one, it's the same one, right in front of me. But I'm driving, you know what? And if you haven't seen these yet, then you're just not paying attention, so...
The chemtrail conspiracy theories have been around for quite a while. They claim that the contrails left behind by aircraft are not simply composed of water vapor and ice crystals, but are instead chemicals or substances intentionally sprayed by government agencies or other organizations for various nefarious purposes. Some of those nefarious purposes are geoengineering, mind control, population control, environmental harm including weather control, as well as alien involvement. So now that we know a little bit more about this state representative, let's jump back to the video.
Yeah, so my thing is that 83.3 rule that they're trying to use, where are they getting their authority for that rule? And what's the scope? Like I showed you, the scope of those rules says for civil things. So this is not coming in here is not a civil matter. This is a public matter.
So Footloose is basing his argument that he can record in this courthouse on Rule 1.1F, which reads, Scope, Local Rules 1.1 through 83.16, which the prohibition for recording falls under, shall govern the procedure in all civil actions. Frankly speaking, this entire idea seems incredibly impractical from the outset. It raises a fundamental question. How could prohibition be enforced throughout the entire courthouse, as it seems to suggest, while also restricting it solely to civil cases? This notion lacks practicality, especially when considering that the courthouse inevitably handles a mixture of both civil and criminal cases throughout the day.
Well, I'm not an auditor. I don't make money on my YouTube channel or anything. I document my business, and some auditors, they get, a lot of them get paid for it. They make money and they get views off of conflict. So when you're monetized, it's gonna subconsciously or consciously make you say, oh, first of all, you have to do a certain amount of hours every week to get paid. So you have to produce content. So you're already being forced to create stuff. And then, I forget where I was going with that.
Yeah, you start pushing yourself loose.
Yeah, you just start, and then you start creating situations and being a jerk and baiting and stuff like that,
In the title of my video, I labeled Footloose as a First Amendment auditor because he uses the same lingo of every other auditor I've covered in the past. However, he likes to refer to himself as a, quote, nullifier. What I believe he means by that is he is someone who sees themselves as a safeguard against unjust laws and government overreach. And to be fair, he portrayed First Amendment auditors in a manner that aligns with my perception of the majority of them, as provocateurs who wield their cameras to intentionally provoke confrontations simply for money.
And then there's case law for filming in public. Glick versus Cuniff, Smith versus Cummings, and this is a First Circuit case too.
Where is the public? What public are they using?
Is a case, Glick versus Cuniff, First Circuit, 2011, is a case which the United States Court of Appeals for the First Circuit held that a private citizen has the right to record video and audio of police carrying out their duties in a public place, and that the arrest of the citizen for a wiretapping violation violated his First and Fourth Amendment rights. Case arose when Simon Glick filmed Boston, Massachusetts police officers from the bicycle unit making an arrest in a public park. When
Glick versus Knuff gets thrown around a lot by these guys. Glick established a legal precedent that individuals have a right to record the police in public spaces as long as they do so without interfering with law enforcement activities. The problem I see with his argument is that he's sitting in a federal courthouse where Glick, the man arrested for filming officers, was in the Boston Common, a public park in Boston. The fact that he was in a public park was a key factor in the legal dispute regarding his right to record law enforcement officers without violating the law. Denver Metro Audits tried to use the same case law for his case at the Social Security office, but was quickly shut down. This is what I said about that at the time. There was also an argument about non-public forums versus traditional public forums. It reads, government restrictions on speech in non-public forum need only be viewpoint neutral and reasonable in light of the forum's purpose. Interestingly, both the government and DMA's side agree the SSA offices are a non-public forum, but that didn't stop DMA's attorney from quoting case law that involved only traditional public forums. The government writes, Cordova's reliance on cases discussing video recording as a form of speech creation is misplaced. These cases relate to recording video in a public forum. The government does not dispute that video recording is afforded some protection under the First Amendment, as are other activities prohibited in federal agency offices by the GSA regulations, such as solicitation, posting flyers, and commercial advertising. It seems they are essentially saying, yes, video recording can be protected under the First Amendment, but so are these other First Amendment activities like solicitation and posting flyers. From my understanding, as long as these prohibitions are viewpoint neutral in a non-public forum, those prohibitions on First Amendment activities are lawful. The judge here makes a clear distinction about recording in a traditional public forum, like the Boston Common, versus a non-public forum, like an SSA building or a federal courthouse.
I don't know if they could spray something or what. Hey, how's it going? Hey, good. How you doing?
Good. All right.
Good. Thank you. I don't know if they could spray
So I
something.
understand you guys are filming and videoing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. It says we're allowed to right here.
You're not allowed to, though.
It actually says we're allowed to right here.
Okay.
Building entrances, lobbies, foyers, corridors, and auditoriums for news, unless there is a rule, which is this 83.38.
Yep.
83.8. And there are exceptions here, but before I get into that, the
Okay, well, first of all, my name is Inspector Flynn. I'm with the Federal Protective Service. Okay? All right, guys, so here's what I want to do. Okay? You can't do it in here. That's a nice badge.
Thank you.
can't do it in here. Okay? There's a building rule that states...
What is
Listen,
that?
Let me finish.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
Let me finish. There's a building rule that states you can't film inside of here. Okay?
What rule is that?
You're filming it. You were shown that yesterday, I believe, right?
No, I have it right here.
Okay.
And this, it says the scope. Hold on, Sturt, can I? Local rules 1.1 through 83.16.
Okay.
This is 83.8, so it falls into that.
Yep.
Shall govern the procedure in all civil actions.
So I argued earlier that this argument about the rules only pertaining to civil actions was pretty absurd. But don't take my word for it, because he either didn't look under the criminal rules, or he simply decided to cherry pick that one point about civil actions. Under the scope for criminal rules, it reads, 1.1 to 58.1 shall govern the procedure in all criminal actions. Civil local rules shall apply insofar as they do not conflict with any statute, federal or local crime, or individual order. The following civil/general local rules shall apply in criminal actions. And if we go down here, 83.8, the rule prohibiting recording, fits directly in that, making it a criminal action.
We're not here for civil action.
Okay. If you let me finish.
We're here for public. This is a public forum. This is a public building.
Okay.
A courthouse is typically not considered a public forum in the same way that places like parks and sidewalks are. That's why the Glick versus Knuff case is relevant in this instance. Public forums are spaces that have traditionally been used for public expression and assembly, and where First Amendment rights are afforded significant protection. Courthouses, on the other hand, are government buildings primarily designed for the administration of justice and the conduct of legal proceedings. While they are open to the public and people have a right to access them for legal matters, they are subject to certain restrictions and regulations that are intended to ensure the fair and orderly administration of justice. These restrictions may include security measures, limited access to certain areas, and yes, even rules on prohibited recording.
And
Can you
if
show us the rule, please?
If you don't stop, then you will be arrested.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Under violating a building rule.
You're going to be arrested violating these rules. Yes.
Can we talk outside about the rules?
Let's go outside. That's the whole intent of me coming here, is to have you guys go outside.
I just wanted to talk to
So it's like we've been out here filming for like,
Sir, if you want to put the park, you can. You just can't bring it. You can't bring the...
right, that's the problem. And it says right here.
Frank,
All right.
just let me finish.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. My issue is that I believe my colleagues have a vested interest in what happens in this building. It's on New Hampshire land. New Hampshire is a sovereign entity. So the GSA and all these federal agencies, you guys can make all the stuff you want. That's fine. Okay? But as far as I'm concerned, a state representative, part of the people who sent me to account for what's going on, should have the ability to talk to the clerk, who, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of like the head of the courthouse, right? So that's all I want to do is ask about these rules and then cite New Hampshire state law that gives me the ability to do this. That's my issue.
Unfortunately, your argument's going to be moot because you're on federal property and federal law trumps state law.
No, it doesn't, actually.
Okay.
So Representative Gerhard is seeking access to the clerk's office to inquire about the recording of the Freeman case. His claim revolves around the notion that he is being denied access to the clerk's office, although that is not the case at all. He retains the ability to engage with the clerk's office staff as long as he refrains from recording within the courthouse, a stipulation he is unwilling to adhere to. So they finally leave the inside of the courthouse, where we find a DHS representative offering to bring the paperwork to the clerk for him because he refuses to stop recording.
I'm not a lawyer, dude. I'm a carpenter, but this is bogus. You guys know it. I mean,
I'm more of a lawyer than he is.
So anyway, yeah, if you could deliver to the clerk, this is the main thing. Ian Freeman's trial on the Bitcoin thing is Monday.
Monday.
I would like to record that. Sentencing, I'm sorry. So I'd like to record that, and I just find it kind of odd. There's no real mechanism to go get that done. There's no...
I thought you were in yesterday to find out about the rules to get that done.
Correct. And so that's the problem is, like I was saying, I researched this whole thing about photographing and the prohibitions, right? And there's exceptions. The exceptions.
The judge needs to give you an exception, correct?
No, the clerk.
Okay.
So there's.
So is that in right here that you're requesting that?
No.
No. Me, I'm.
Why not?
Because I don't think I should have to. I work for the government.
No, okay. All right. So we're saying that there's a law that there's a rule and there's an exception, and it says, hey, make the request, but you don't want to make the request because it's your constitutional right.
Gerhard doesn't believe he needs to ask for an exception to record because he, quote, works for the government, which was interesting coming from someone with an anti-government past. Does he expect special privileges because he works for the government? His point is moot either way because as there are exceptions to record certain ceremonies and procedures in the courthouse, there isn't an exception to record a criminal trial, state rep or no state rep.
So something else I want to point out is this case.
Dude, he doesn't have any.
No, I know. But no, he's the guy. He's cool. He's not the Freeman case.
Yeah.
Glick versus Cunliffe.
Yeah.
Okay, this is about and it's a First Circuit case, and we are allowed to film. Held that a citizen has a right to film public officials in a public place. The public's right to access is coextensive with that of the press.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a public space. You've already admitted to it. It says public forum right on the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So listen, if you went inside the building, right? Say you went into the Social Security office, right? You go into the Social Security office. There's no filming in there either.
You can get permission from that agency.
There is a mechanism in place to get permission to record in an SSA building, like the officer said. Something DMC said you didn't have to, but was ultimately proven wrong. After a few more cordial minutes back and forth, they leave the premises.
Dude, do you understand what this means?
Yeah.
This is they don't have the authority to do this.
Right.
They just stamped it saying they received notice of it.
Right.
This is on, dude.
So I'm like Donkey Kong on Monday, bro.
So what are you doing right now?
I was ready to I'm ready to get it right there. I see me getting it.
I just.
But yeah, no, it's just timing is everything.
What annoyed me though is like the tough guy thing.
How about?
There's a good cop back.
Listen, we're gonna what we do.
I don't like. Hold on.
What we do, and
Okay,
this
stop.
is for the
Have a
people.
day.
Hold on, we're still recording.
Oh, I thought you were talking.
No, I'm still recording. So, what we do is we will offer people on Monday the opportunity to get arrested with us. Let's have like 20 people get arrested, bro.
I don't know. I would like to contact other state reps and talk to them about the situation and see what's
Get them there too.
I know. I can't do that by Monday.
For some strange reason, Gerhard is under the belief that because the clerk stamped that they received a request to record the sentencing of Freeman, that it somehow automatically gives him the green light to go ahead and do just that. He's wrong in this instance, as no such exception exists, like I said previously. Next up is Stage 3, where Gerhard and Footloose intentionally get arrested at Freeman's sentencing because, as they put it, it will, quote, give them standing to challenge the rule. Press NH Now is back for Stage 3, but he declined to get arrested, and as a matter of fact, he says, quote, I'll just wait to see what happens with you guys, unquote. Thanks to the folks at Free Keene, the next few minutes that include the arrest will be brought to you without any interruption. Let's get right to it.
So, you can't record me. I understand. I'm trying to draw the charge to challenge it later in court.
So whatever you want to charge us with is fine.
He's calling your.
I brought my defense. Constitution.
And I want to say that the scope of the rules is for civil cases.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the scope of the rules, it says civil only.
Are you recording too?
I'm not answering any questions.
You have a better attorney than I do, apparently.
That's what I mean. So arrest me, do whatever, and then I'll come back, and when I have to represent myself, it's going to be the same thing in the lobby here. I'm getting in to film my criminal case to challenge this.
He didn't admit that he was either.
Right.
And what are you arresting him under?
I'm sorry?
What will you be arresting him under? Don't you have to have an articulable, suspicionable
Crime?
something to
What's the crime?
say,
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
arresting someone?
Yep.
And a warning.
All right.
What's going on?
You never got my ID that day, did you?
I can't hear you.
You never got my ID that day, did you?
I still don't understand why you're looking for the fight, but that's okay.
What?
Because this is our protected right.
That's what we
This
do.
is America. This is a public forum for the citizens of New Hampshire. And you're trying to apply a law to criminal cases or a rule, a local rule that applies only to civil matters. So you might want to check the scope of that rule. I'm putting you on notice right now.
Okay. We've checked it.
You've read the scope?
Yep.
I don't care what the rule itself says.
And you have to file a motion with the court if you want to, that would be the proper procedure.
There is, are we talking?
Guys,
yeah.
let's just,
We'll talk about it. I'll tell the judge.
This is the whole legal aspect of
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk to the judge.
So what would you like? What would you like from us to do?
Arrest me. Charge me with whatever your crime you're going to concoct. And that's it. I need to have the standing.
Okay. You understand that the posted rules state that you can't record in the lobby of the...
I understand that posted rule is for civil cases.
Okay. But I'm telling you, it applies right now. You can't...
That's what you think. Sure, I understand.
You let me finish. It applies right now, and you're given the opportunity to leave or stop recording. So, would you like to leave instead of getting arrested?
Right. Well, I got to be lawful. I haven't heard a lawful order either. I've heard awful orders.
Me too. Two of you.
I'm just not into theatrics. I just want to challenge.
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's get it over with.
All right, you understand, right?
I get it.
Whatever you want to do.
Who's opposed?
I allegedly violated your rule.
I'm asking you to stop recording.
Yes.
You're not stopping.
I'm standing
He's
on my
asking us.
constitutional rights.
He's
I'm giving
asking.
you the opportunity.
Sure.
Okay. So you're going to stop recording?
I'm standing on my constitutional rights to record in a public building.
Okay. All right. Peace first.
Oh, you can't do it yourself, Lance? You don't have balls? You have no balls to do it yourself? Do it.
You don't want to be the one in court, but you'll be there.
He doesn't want to go to court,
Sure.
that's why.
I have no problem with it.
He doesn't have the balls. He's going to send his goons to the corner. Look at the gloves, okay? Look at the gloves.
Cavity search.
You don't have the balls to do it himself, huh? He's going to send you. You just follow orders like that? Just do what you're told?
Yep.
So I'm under arrest. I just want to turn it off.
That's fine.
Okay. But I'll only turn it off completely. I'm just saying, so I might need
So the
it later.
battery doesn't.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I don't know what you're doing.
Giving you the same option, sir. You want to stop recording and leave the building, or do you want to be arrested?
I didn't realize.
It was Footloose, right? That was your name? Are you recording? Okay. Yeah. You got the phone?
Yep.
Okay. All right. At this point, you're under arrest. Okay. Turn around.
He does have balls. Look at him. Nice.
The law says if you don't have attenuation, the whole place turns into an echo chamber. What?
The battery. Yeah, don't shut that up. Don't touch my property. Don't touch my property. I'm already cuffed up.
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting. I'm already cuffed. No, you're trying to take it off and you got me cuffed. It's not going to come off while I'm cuffed. Smart guy. And don't damage my property either. Where are we going? Where are we getting processed?
Right on this floor.
Right on this floor?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm going to take you out. This to bump. You're going to have to.
I don't know. We'll find out. What's the charge? We'll find out on the citation. No, of course not. Because they don't have anything legit, bro. It's all bogus.
You got to take one cuff off so we can safely remove your camera.
Safely, yeah.
They probably should have done that first.
What about the deadly weapons? Shod feet. Shoes are a deadly weapon. You can't allow those.
So that's where we stand today. Both Footloose and Gerhard were both charged with CFR 102-74.385, which reads, persons in and on property must at all times comply with official signs of a prohibitory, regulatory, or directory nature and with the lawful direction of federal police officers and other authorized individuals. This just happens to be one of the charges that DMC was found guilty of when he was arrested at the SSA building. So after the arrest of Footloose and Gerhard, Footloose cranked up a live stream to let his viewers know that Stage 4 was on the horizon.
This is Stage 3. What did I tell you guys was Stage 3? Getting arrested. Stage 4 is what? Stage 4 is going to represent myself at the federal courthouse and wearing my body cam and refusing to take it off. And then what are they going to do? They have to let me in to represent myself. Okay, that's been the plan this whole time. So just because we didn't get through the security today, that wasn't the point. The point was to create the standing and get arrested. Okay, there's a long-term strategy here, and it might take, a while to pan out.
I, for one, am excited to see how this pans out, as I've yet to see a challenge like this in a federal courthouse. I believe these two men have a mighty high hill to climb, but, at least for Footloose, he seems intent on following through with the whole thing. I will be following this case to its conclusion, so please check back in for future updates. The best way to do that is to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Until next time, this is Dummy Kruger, and I'll see you guys on the next video.